hit me.
We've got electric cars, sedans, hatchbacks, hybrid wagon things. We got electric full-size trucks. Heck, we even have a convertible full-size truck. Got electric vans and more electric SUVs of all sizes than I can even keep track of. But somehow we have no electric mid-size or small trucks. What is going on here, people? We love trucks, and anytime there's a new player in the electric truck market, well, that's a good day, my friends, especially when that truck happens to buck the trend a bit. And today, we got a mid-size, yes, mid-size fully electric truck brought to us by none other than Fisker, and it's called the Alaska. What's up, motorheads, and welcome back to Gearbox Pizza. Okay, let's get right to it. Here's the headline: $45,000, 340 mile range, 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds with a 9-foot bed. But there's a catch or two. So before we dive headfirst into all the performance numbers and all that, let's start with the scale of this thing. And lengthwise, we're coming in at just under 209 inches. And look, that info by itself is sort of useless, so let's just see how it compares to some existing trucks. That pretty rad Ford Maverick, well, that comes in at 200 inches, and the Ford F-150 Lightning comes in at a massive 232 inches, and then well, there's a Ford Ranger, which comes in at 210 inches. So there we go. This thing is basically the size of a Ford Ranger. All right, so yeah, digging the size, but how the crap does a mid-sized truck have a 9-foot bed, you ask? Well, good question. You guys are good. So in its standard configuration, the bed measures 4.5 feet long. But there's this trick divider thing that Fisker's actually calling the Houdini partition. You see, the back seats can be lowered and the bed can be extended inward with the help of these folding panels that rise up to protect the interior from whatever cargo you might have back there. Yeah, and I gotta say, this actually feels pretty innovative, and you're most likely not gonna need it all that often. I mean, if you have the need for a large bed in a truck, well, then you're probably gonna buy a truck with a large bed. But as we all know, things come up, and to have this somewhat elegant option here, yeah, sort of feels like a win-win if you ask me, and the fellas at Fisker sort of did a goodie on this one. All right, moving on, and this is where we start to take that headline down a notch. You see, that 340 mile range we were all getting excited over, well, that'll only be available with a larger battery, and as you guessed it, you're not getting the big battery at 45 grand. Sorry, you're not, but look, more on that later. There's gonna be the regular pack, that's gonna be 75 kilowatt hours, and that'll be good for about 230 miles, and then the larger 113 kilowatt hour pack, that's gonna get you to 340 miles. Yay! All right, so let's start talking power, and seeing as this fella is gonna be built on that Ocean platform, we can pretty safely assume that you're gonna have the choice between a single motor front wheel drive option or a double motor all wheel drive option. So in the Fisker Ocean, the single motor version makes a pretty decent 275 horse, while the dual motor sled comes in at a very respectable 564 horsepower. So yeah, look, the big boy's gonna hit 60 in under 4 seconds, while that single motor option, that's gonna be more in the 7-second range. So for that headline price of 45 grand, unfortunately, you won't be getting that 340 miles of range, nor will you be getting that 0 to 60 time in under 4 seconds. Rather, the entry-level version at that price will be front-wheel drive, 230 miles of range, and it's going to be a little bit slower. Now, don't be too disappointed. I mean, what did you really expect? And I think this is actually still a really good value at that price point. You know, keep in mind, there's nothing else like this out there at that size, at this price. Well, that is for now. You see, Fisker's aiming for deliveries to commence in early 2025, and if there's one thing we've come to learn 150 videos or whatever later, is that all electric automakers deliver their products on time or even early. Okay, not really. Alright, so how much to get the one you really want? Well, I think we can look at the Ocean to sort of predict the trims and prices, and it should go something like this. The entry-level sports trim is going to be about 45 grand, and then next you're going to have the Ultra trim at about 55 grand, then the Extreme at about 65 grand, and then finally the One at about 75 grand. And look, obviously there's going to be options and some mix and match between motors and batteries, but it's kind of too early to tell. So I've been keeping an eye on this space, as personally, I would really love to have a fully electric mid-sized truck, and This wouldn't be my daily driver, but more of a long-term replacement for a shop truck sort of thing. And I don't need anything gigantic, and I don't have $100,000 just lying around. So I've had my eye on the canoe truck for a very long time, but hey, look, no idea when that's ever gonna make it to the market, fingers crossed, but who knows. So any new options in the space are very much welcome, even if the styling on this one is, I don't know, maybe just a touch overdone, but what do I know?